Welcome to the Farmcast.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Farmcast. We are here today. We are going to be a little interesting podcast here. So we are all, not the smartest people, and sometimes we don't
brains.
Yeah. And sometimes, there's just normal things in our life that we don't really think about how they work, but we don't really know either. And so we are just going to discuss a bunch of things today that we don't quite understand. Now, a little disclaimer, we know that these things work. We know that for some reason they work. We aren't that dumb, but you know what? We don't really know how exactly. So, someone want to kick us off with something they don't understand?
I'll start with time.
Okay.
I don't understand how time works. Well,
That's
more in the sense of like why we have like time zones, to be specific, and like daylight savings time that can be lumped in there too. But I don't know why we have to break it all up into different times. Like it makes sense for us now because we've done it forever. But the only thing is if we just operate it under the same time, like if it's 3 o'clock in New York, like 3 p.m. in New York, it's 3 p.m. in Milwaukee, it's 3 p.m. in Denver, it's 3 p.m. in Shanghai, it's also 3 p.m. at this, like, everywhere. Everyone just operates under the same time.
I think I got an answer for you. I think it's because, so the sun rises in, okay, this is going to make me sound stupid, in the east?
No, go, please. This whole thing will sound bad.
The sun rises in the east and sets in the west, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So your days are going to start earlier on the east, so that way you all have daylight time, right? Because if it's 6 o'clock in New York and it's 6 o'clock here, we're going to have less time to operate the day unless we just move our day back to starting at 8 p.m. Or 8 a.m., I mean.
Okay,
time
zones are fine.
It
makes sense.
Daylight savings times was made for farmers.
Yes.
Amen.
Daylight savings is bullshit.
No, like, I get what you're saying, like, it gives you more day, but, like, everyone's day just starts at a different time then. So, like...
But, okay.
They all start at the same time, technically.
No, they all start technically at the same time. But, like, it just doesn't... For me, I do understand it because, like, I want to get the most out of my daytime, right? I've worked night shift before. Only being awake at night fucking stinks. And sleeping during the daytime, it stinks, man.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, that shit's ass.
The only country that I know does that is China doesn't have time zones. So, I mean, if you hate them so much, there's options.
I'm not saying I hate it. I'm just saying, like, what if everyone's time, like, starts, like, every time is the same. So, like, it's 3 p.m. everywhere, for example. However, my 3 p.m. is, like, could be when I'm sleeping. So, like, I sleep from, like, 3 p.m. to whatever a.m. And that could be someone's day.
Long sleep.
Like, when they get, like, daylight or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I feel like no one understands what I'm coming from.
I do understand what you're saying.
I'm just not with it.
I'm not either. I feel like it's nitpicking here. It would be easier for, like, me when I didn't understand time zones when I was 10, like when I was watching Disney Channel or Nickelodeon, they say the new episode comes out at 7 o'clock Central, 6 p.m. Eastern or something like that. Yeah. Then I would piss me off. It still does piss me off because I'm like, shit, I thought it started at 6, like, what the fuck? But,
yeah, I get where you're coming from, Becker, but we literally need time zones. I thought when you were going to bring up time, I thought you were going to be like how light and gravity on some, like, interstellar shit, and how, like, we experience time on a different planet would be, like, completely different.
I mean, that too, see? Time.
That shit's
doesn't
weird.
Make sense.
I don't get it. Or, like...
You know what? I'm not going to concern myself with it because I'm on this planet. That honestly makes my head hurt thinking about shit like that.
Yeah. And, does time even really technically exist? Because it's a man-made construct.
I was going to say it's a man-made construct, so.
So,
fuck.
Yeah,
I'll be
time
honest
sucks.
with you, speaking of it being a man-made construct, we fucking hit it on the head with a 24-hour cycle, huh? I don't know if there could be any better cycle.
Go on.
It just works out perfectly. You like, because we naturally sleep for like 6 to 8 hours a night, right? I'm assuming it's probably always been like that, and then you're up for like 18 hours.
You can actually condition yourself because so I know I don't know why I know this, don't fucking ask, but in like the upper parts of like Scandinavia, where they kind of have that Alaska thing where certain parts of the year they'll have like 18 hours of sunlight. Yeah. Well, apparently there's a lot of people do is during those seasons they've literally conditioned their bodies and their own sleep schedules to where like during I can't remember, sun is always but the sun is usually down, but they'll sleep like 16, 17 hours a day. And then
what a dream.
During the winter, they're just up all the fucking time and sleep like 3 hours a day. It's crazy.
Wouldn't you want it to be the opposite?
Yeah. What?
Yeah, I think summer is the time that's longer, but regardless, Kyle was saying
either way.
Yeah.
I wish we could hibernate.
Wouldn't that be? I don't know.
No, it would be. It would be fucking awesome. It would be.
I don't know
great.
if I would like to be up for weeks at a time without sleeping.
I mean, you're sleeping a little bit.
I don't think that's how it works.
No?
Because squirrels still sleep.
Well, yeah, they just like just because like a bear hibernates for 3 months out of the year or whatever, they're not awake for 9 months straight after that.
Says you.
Yeah.
You ever seen a bear napping?
Yeah, at the zoo.
Wow. Yeah, what else?
Well, that's also a man-made concept, so we're pushing our beliefs on them.
Kyle, did you just ask if bears hibernated?
If they hibernated at the zoo.
Oh, I have no idea.
I don't think so.
I don't think
they do.
I would imagine if they were like born in the wild, then they probably would, because they kind of still have that.
I think they do all the time. I'm gonna look.
Yeah, I have no idea.
This is interesting information.
That's another thing we do not understand. But hibernating would be hibernating would be so cool as a human.
All right. So according to Alaska.gov from Alaska Fish and Wildlife News, bears in zoos will not hibernate if food is available, though they will slow down and sleep more than usual. Some zoo bears are fed year-round and do not hibernate. Since they do not undergo a winter weight loss like wild bears, some zoo bears can get very overweight.
Okay.
Damn, that's sad.
That's the other thing I never really understood about hibernation is like they don't eat.
Yeah, so they just store up, they just eat as much as they can when they are awake or not hibernating, just to store up fat for the next winter.
And that's why these zoo bears get fat, because their like instinct is to do that
as much as they
stock
can
up, but then they just don't hibernate and just keep eating.
I bet you a fat bear is pretty
like
cute.
us during quarantine.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I didn't think about the logistics of if being a human hibernating, you would have to like be big and
you have to be a thick boy.
And you're put away for 3 months or whatever. But if I could sleep through December, January, and February, fuck it, I'll do it.
You think you'd wake up refreshed?
I feel like you would wake up dazed and confused. Yeah. Man. You would have no idea what the fuck's going on.
Hey, 3 months pass.
Can you imagine?
I get that if I go out and drink and I sleep for like 12 hours, I wake up, I'm like, what fucking day is it, dude?
And for 90 days.
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude.
Fuck. I guess you do have a couple times
spent just getting ready to do it again.
Damn, what a weird,
the only purpose of the next 9 months is to get ready to hibernate.
Like if you sleep for 3 months and then you wake up and like, all right, time to get ready for next hibernation. Let's eat.
The first one was so good.
Maybe that's like their vacation is just sleeping. Like, don't need to gather food, don't need to do anything. I'm asleep for 3 months.
And then once the end of month 3 of hibernation hits, it's back to work because you are a hungry boy.
Oh yeah. Man. Okay.
Who's next?
So I have one that's kind of along the same vein. But like, how do certain animals like think? And this got actually brought up because I was out driving around with a friend the other day, and we saw a bunch of geese and ducks flying through the air, and it's like, how do they know that they need to fly south? I get like the temperature thing, but like, how do they, how do birds all decide we're gonna get in this massive pack and fly in a V because that's the most aerodynamic thing? And then like when you land and you just pick up more birds, are they saying to the other birds like, hey, come with us, we're going south? Or do they just go because they see other birds doing it? You know what I mean?
It's all like their instinct though. Like they've been just.
So yeah, I mean, there's no thought process in it. They just do it.
Well, yeah, I feel like because that's what they do. They migrate south to breed or whatever they do to avoid the warmer or avoid the colder weather. And once that like time hits and they just like they realize something like, all right, it's time.
So
I need
you
to
think
leave.
they do actually realize something? Like they think and they're like, ooh, this is happening? Or you think they just
have to?
Or do you think that they just go?
Well, if they just go, they would just go at any part, like any time. They have to realize, okay, there's a change. I need to leave.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like us blinking almost. You never think about blink until you think about it, and then it's like, fuck, when do I blink? But it's like one of those things, or walking. You don't think about all the muscles you're moving and shit like that. I think there's just a kind of along that lines, they have like their own instinct that it's like, well, shit, that time again. And like they just evolved into like knowing to fly in a V. Like it just felt right, I guess. That's the best way I can describe instinct.
I'm with the V thing always confuses the hell out of me too. Like,
because every flock of duck and geese you see are flying in a V.
Yeah,
well,
there's not like one where they're just flying in a pack.
That has to be just years of just
experience.
Well, essentially just in their nature. Like they just know the most efficient way of flying because they've done it for generations and generations. That this is how we get from point A to point B fast.
Yeah, but how are they passing that down? What's the communication?
By keep doing
is it a different honk?
I don't know. I was listening to a podcast once, and
was it the farm?
They were interviewing like a couple of these like scientists, and they were talking about dolphins and how because they're like I think the second most intelligent behind humans, and they do things that are so coordinated, and they use those little like clicks to communicate with each other that they were trying to like decipher if they could actually get like a language of dolphins, and it was just wild because like the shit they would do is just so intelligent, but it's impossible to decipher like an actual like language because there's no like Rosetta Stone kind of thing. Yo. And it's just that shit's crazy. That blew my mind.
That's like the movie Arrival, if you guys have ever seen it. It's fucking amazing. Suggested to anyone watching. But they like aliens come and they like learn how to communicate with them. And how do you where do you even start with that? Like that hurt my head thinking about.
Well, if you think about it this way, it's like a child learning a language for the first time. They're just immersed in it for so long that they just pick it up naturally. So like for us, we grew up in like learning English, and everything we did was English. Like, let's say a kid in Japan, everything they were like hearing and seeing and reading is all in Japanese, so they just pick it up. I guess it's the same for dolphins. All they know is just dolphin clicks. Yeah, so they just know what they mean when they're like out and about.
Yeah, I'm talking more about like the bridge from like our language to one that we don't even know. Like you would have to, there would be years on years of trial and error to even talk to aliens. Like where do you even begin with that? Like they might not even have the same words as us. Like
well,
or ideas.
The thing is they might not communicate speaking words. That's the whole thing. We're just assuming they're using like vocal cords and vibrating something to make a sound. Yeah,
and that's again, I suggest Arrival if you've never seen it. They use these weird like letters. They don't even talk. Like, they just use these weird, like, ink that they spit out. It's fucking nuts. Amazing movie.
Huh. Let's check it out.
That always hurt my head, though.
See, okay, I got something. It's along the lines of that, space. It has nothing to do with aliens, but this isn't an everyday thing, but it's something I absolutely never understood. Like, when they were going to the moon, how the fuck did they get video footage?
The camera?
They're 300,000 miles away.
Yeah, you bring up a video camera.
Yeah. VHS tape.
How does that get? But what they did, they
put it in the ship and they flew it up
live
there.
TV though. They did live TV from the ship with the crew. That became like a tradition on the Apollo flights that went to the moon. They, in the middle of the flight, they would do a live television broadcast.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was in a Hollywood studio.
Shut up. That actually is crazy.
I've never even thought about this, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Makes no sense.
When was the first one? When did we first go to the moon?
Well,
1969 and 1970. I think 1969.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There were satellites there. Yeah. So if they could connect to the satellites, then that could be broadcast. That could be broadcast onto to the Earth.
Yeah, I'm assuming if they found out like satellite technology, they knew how like live streaming would work.
Yeah, if they can fly someone to the moon, I feel like they can figure out how to show that.
It's just mind blowing because like even like the like one of the famous things with the technology that they used to get to the moon was like
a green screen.
Shut up. It was less powerful than like an iPhone.
Yeah.
That is just
nuts.
Mind-boggling.
I think what's more crazy is how powerful the phones are, but we don't need to get into that.
That's true, actually.
Dude, like,
it's not even like, damn, they were using some Stone Age shit. It's, we have nutso phones now.
Yeah, bro, we have phones. We have phones that can do literally like as much as almost any computer can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's fucking nuts.
Yeah, that's another thing I don't understand is how phone calls are made.
Okay.
It's the same. Wouldn't it be under the same vein of like satellites or like?
Well, yeah,
cell towers?
Okay, but yeah. I guess it goes
before
into
that.
More of, like it goes more into like the like how do I even like the Skype call right now? How do I talk? And then it goes to you guys like in real time.
The internet.
Man, I don't have an answer. You raised some good questions.
But like I'm talking into a microphone, right? How does this microphone then? Because I understand like sound is all vibrations, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how does this microphone encapsulate those vibrations and then send it to you perfectly, and so perfectly that you guys can distinguish it's my voice?
Look.
I don't know. I
can't tell you much about a microphone. I think I know how like a recorder and records are made. That makes sense to me, but like
explain it to me. Because I don't understand that either.
Well, with like a record, with like if you're like recording a record or in your voice and everything, there's I can't remember exactly what the instrument is, but you basically use the vibrations from your voice or whatever the sound is. And those vibrations go into the instrument that actually etches it into whatever you're recording on, usually like a vinyl, because that's just like the most clear. And so when you use that same instrument, like that needle, to go back on that record, it'll because the vibrations were made and the etchings were made using those vibrations from the sound, it just replays those vibrations, which translates to sound.
Okay, I get that.
Just
that.
Crazy.
Yeah,
who the fuck figured that out?
That's what I mean, bro. You gotta be, obviously incredibly smart, but I think also a little fucking insane to figure out shit like that.
Oh yeah, you have to be fucking nuts.
I've thought about that before too. Like, how could you think to invent something that doesn't exist? and then not only think it, but then just do it. That is like incredible to me.
I feel that way a lot of the time with like food, because the next thing I was gonna say is like cheese. I don't like think about it. There's so many different types of cheeses that who would thought milk would make this cheese? And how do you get different cheeses that taste like different? Aren't they all the same? It's all just cheese? I don't get it.
I think you can reverse engineer this in a way that makes sense, because like back in those days, nobody knew what the fuck germs were and bacteria. So, and they noticed, hey, when this milk sits a while, it does this and it curdles. And then some motherfuckers like, we could probably eat that.
What else? How do you get the different flavors of cheese and like the different properties? Like with string cheese, isn't it just mozzarella? So you can like peel it, and it like you can peel it, but like you take a block of cheddar, you can't peel that.
That's a good point. That's a pretty good point.
And like Swiss cheese, how are there holes in there? I don't get it.
They're from the bubble.
Who puts the holes in there?
The Swiss man.
Yeah, the Swiss man comes around. Oh fuck. I've got something that I don't understand.
Okay.
I think Kyle and we've discussed this a little bit, but we're gonna discuss it on the pod now. Planes, like big jets.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll tell you, lift. That's how it happens.
Yeah. Okay. What don't you understand about them? I back in the day, I did fly a couple planes, so I may be able to answer.
That's right.
Oh shit, Aviator Fenner.
Yeah. So okay, these big fucking jets.
Yeah.
That like you go to Mitchell International, wherever, the big motherfucking planes. Those weigh so much, and to see those jet engines fucking toss that motherfucker into the sky and not just toss it up there and land, but precisely every time on a schedule, how smart planes are. What the fuck is going on there?
So there, like, we did go into it a little bit, like in my aviation class, there's a whole lot of equations that go into it, right? So if you have something that weighs a certain amount, you need to, as Becker said, you need to generate a certain amount of lift. So like the big things, I think it's the three big things with flying is weight, lift, and thrust. Or there could be four. I think drag is the fourth one. Okay. So like the wings are made depending on how heavy it is. So the bigger the wings you have, more likely the heavier the object is. So your wings create your lift, and your jet engines create your thrust. So there needs to be like the exact right amount of each one of these things to make a plane fly, sorry. So I feel like I sound real stupid trying to explain this, but like there's a whole lot of things that go into it, and that's about all I can tell you. All I know from 6 years ago taking this aviation class.
Okay.
But that goes back to like, how did anybody fucking think of that? That I feel like was a whole lot of trial and error. A lot of people probably died.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What, just like making a plane?
Yeah, dude. Because like before you figure out these equations, right? You're literally just throwing a fucking needle at a board.
Yeah.
Hoping something sticks.
See, I don't know. Like, I think it worked the other way. I think they literally tried to cut like they.
Well, then how come the Wright brothers didn't just fly the first time then?
I mean, if you want to get weird, we can get weird. Like I know Da Vinci, I'm because he had that notebook and he had all those like etchings of engineering kind of stuff.
Yep.
And he had what was essentially like the first prototype for a helicopter.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure when they put it into practice, it worked.
Yeah, but that's a helicopter flies so much different than a plane.
A helicopter also shouldn't make sense. It like defies the laws of physics.
I mean, I don't think so. You're throwing air at the ground.
That's easy to say. Like helicopters legitimately are like an anomaly.
But they exist.
I don't know. Helicopters make sense to me.
Yeah, I feel like it makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can
John
elaborate on it, but when I'm thinking about a
I
helicopter,
can't explain it, but it makes sense.
When I'm thinking about a helicopter and the rotors, it's like literally, and that sounds very stupid the way I said it, but it's like chucking air at the ground. Like the way that those blades are angled, right? They're made to like basically climb through the air because air has like there's certain friction to it and there's weight to it. You know what I mean? So it's like you get those things spinning fast enough and they're big enough, you're going to climb in the air, right?
Yeah.
See, I want to know like the first guy to think of flight and just like how did he just think of that? Just looked at a bird, it's like, birds in the air. I want to go in the air. How do I like a bird?
Yeah.
I mean, literally, that is exactly what happened.
Yeah.
I could imagine like the first person who wanted to do that making his big bird wings and like jumping off of something just flapping like crazy.
Flat on the ground.
I think when I was a kid, I tried doing something like that. I'm like, why wouldn't it work?
Yeah. I always thought it'd be cool to like, as I said on previous podcasts, I'm a big kite guy. To get a big enough kite to go fly. I always thought that'd be possible for me to like hang myself on a kite and just go soaring.
Oh God! See you, Fenner.
Yeah.
Oh, there he goes.
When I was at Platteville,
it's like the guy from Up.
When I was at Platteville, there was this guy who would always come to this like big park where we had rugby practice, and he had like a big old fan backpack and like a little seat, and he had a big old parachute attached to it. So what he would do is like turn on his big old fan and just start running to get that parachute like up, and he would just fly around in it. I don't know how to explain it, but that's like the best thing. You just had this big old like, what are those boats called? The big old fan, like a fan boat or whatever. Is that what it is?
They use them down in the south.
Shit.
Yeah, he pretty much just had that strapped on his back and a big parachute tied to it. And he would just like start it and just start running across this field, and eventually he would just get up and just start flying around.
What the fuck?
We would just stop rugby practice because he'd come by after like pretty frequently.
Hello,
oh shit, let's see him take off again.
I can imagine you guys practicing, just like, doing your underhand tosses, and this dude comes from the sky to land down on the field. Hello, rugby.
Shit, it's him again.
This guy. Oh man, that's funny as hell.
Have you guys ever seen those manta ray tubes that get like pulled behind a boat?
Huh?
No.
I don't think.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
So this was like back in middle school. I feel like was the first time I saw it on YouTube. There were these tubes that first came out that they got banned. I don't think you can use them now. But
these things that toss you up in the air.
You literally fly in the air behind the boat.
Oh yeah, aren't they? No, I don't think those are banned, by the way.
I thought maybe they were banned.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of people were getting seriously hurt using them when they first came out. Because these boats were going like 60 miles an hour, and then you'd slow down, and these dudes would just come crashing into the water.
Jesus.
So they aren't. So I know that they have them at, like some attractions around like the coast and stuff like that. But the boats don't go anywhere. Like they'll just stand still, but you can still like go fucking flying with them. But yeah, no, those things are still. I'd be scared to shit. You literally turn into Iron Man. Like,
how do the boats stand still?
They just rev the engine.
No, this is a completely different thing, dude.
We're talking about different things.
Yeah, this is like a tube, like an inner tube. You know when you go tubing behind a boat? It's like that. So when you get up to like 30, 40, 50 miles an hour on the boat, this thing generates lift like a fucking plane, and you go flying in the fucking air tied to the boat.
Oh shit! Okay, yeah, we were talking about different things.
I saw another
very different things, dude.
I saw another video of this one guy. He was kite surfing, and he just like him and his buddy were kite surfing. So his one buddy was like still on like in the water, just like flying like surfing along, and the other guy ended up getting too much air under his kite, and he just started going up and up and up, and he just wouldn't come down. So he's just hanging onto this kite with his surfboard attached to his feet, just in midair for like at least 30 seconds. And that would be so terrifying. Be like, this isn't supposed to be happening. How do I get down?
That is horrifying.
So fucking wild.
It's horrifying.
Oh my god.
That shit my pants.
Do you guys have anything else you wanna?
Yeah, I got one.
Okay.
I got one, and I think Kyle would be the only one to maybe be able to explain it to me.
Oh boy.
What is anime?
Go on.
Kyle, can you explain to me the MLB Rule 5 draft?
Okay, I can give you a
I'll
rough
tell you,
explanation.
Al, it goes like this.
Yeah. I can give you like a shitty rough explanation.
Okay, because I don't know what it is like at all.
So basically, it consists of players that are like already in minor league systems, and I'm trying to think of what the exact terms are. I think it has to do with guys that have X amount of service time, are not on
a 40-man roster.
40-man. And then, if they have X amount of service time. And then, I think there might be another designation, too, of guys like beyond the 40-man. And then, so if you take a guy and, like, I think it's the first round of, like, the Rule 5 draft, I think it's kind of like the NFL draft where it's like you give up that pick. I know you pay them. You pay the team money. And you have to, if you do draft a guy in the Rule 5 draft, you have to keep them on your 40-man roster the entire year. Otherwise, they go back to the team you drafted them from.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's why a lot of teams don't do it, because it's hard to guarantee that this guy is going to be on your 40-man for an entire season.
Okay.
That's,
Is every team, like, eligible to draft players?
They should be.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I might have got some of the details hazy. I know that last part I'm positive on.
Okay.
And then the draft order is just like any other.
Okay.
Weird.
I kind of like
real
it.
Weird.
I kind of like it because it's like if you're just like hanging on to like this prospect people want, but like you don't bring him up, it's like that guy I like it for the player too, because that guy should get a chance to play, especially if he's good. But like if you're say like the New York Yankees or something, or the Houston Astros, and your team is really good, and you just don't have room for him.
Oh wait, here, it's a little bit different than what I said, and it's actually a little more strict. So basically, you pay the team $50,000 that you select him from. He has to be on your 25-man roster the entire season.
Oh, shit.
And
okay.
It's guys, the only eligible players are guys, like if you were drafted at 18 and you've played 5 or more years, or if you were drafted at 19 and played 4 or more years, then you're eligible.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and then anybody on the 40-man. So there's not a lot of guys that are left over at that point that are.
Right. I was going to say, like, the only person I could think of now, but I mean, he's not, would have been like if Kyle Tucker for some reason was still in the Astros farm system and it was never called up. You know what I mean?
But you would have
guys like that.
40.
Well, right. But yeah.
Notable selections of players in the Rule 5 draft are Roberto Clemente, Johan Santana, Dan Uggla, Josh Hamilton, and Joaquin Soria. Not sure why Dan Uggla is listed before Josh Hamilton, but okay. Sure. Why not?
All right. Well, I get it now.
You understand.
Yeah, I get it now. We all understand.
Lesson for everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew that, but I just had to make sure Connor knew.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got one more that I want to toss out here. I don't. And it's along the lines of what we've been talking about. Who the fuck created just like calculus? They're just like, yep, this works.
Oh,
this is
God.
how it works.
I think they did that in like fucking like ancient fucking times too.
Yeah, and they were just like, well, this is how it has to be.
Would they have used calculus? Is that how they like figured out like the moon times like back in the Mayan days, like the moon cycles and stuff?
I don't think they use calculus.
No.
What do you
just
use
like
for that?
wrote down shit?
Yeah, I think that.
I don't know, because like I always thought it was crazy. Like the one thing I remember, like the biggest thing I remember and thought was like insanely cool from like the Mayan times was that their moon calculations were 0.3 seconds off of what we have right now. Like they were so exact with absolutely no modern technology. Like it's unbelievable to me.
Well, they were also aliens.
Calculus was actually invented in the 1600s.
What the fuck?
But I know like algebra and stuff, that came from way before.
See, how did that all happened so long ago? But in the 1800s, people were dying from dehydration. Like, what the hell happened?
It's called having a system of haves and have-nots.
Yeah, I guess so.
And that's why I think algebra is Greek. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong about that. Oh no, it's Arabic.
Because those are generally really smart things, and like, oh my god, that's just weird. It's weird, man.
Yeah. No, that's very strange.
I also wrote down multivitamins. Don't really get how those work either. They work, I think.
They just stick a whole lot of vitamin C, vitamin A, vitamin D in there and say, here you go.
Yeah.
I don't get computer viruses.
It's true.
I have no idea what the fuck a computer virus is.
I thought you were like responding to what me and Zach said, and you're like, I just don't get computer viruses.
Yeah, I thought he was
I was like, all right, cool, dude. Sick firewall.
Multivitamin. My body does not get a computer virus. Oh, okay.
This is big brain stuff. I'm going to eat Norton.
Yeah.
Consume.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because I remember I would illegally download music on my parents' like PC, and oh my god, that thing had too many viruses. That thing was infected.
Like what? I've never had a virus on my computer.
Like what is it? Are you saying?
I got a virus when I tried to install Gary's mods.
Really?
That didn't go well. Oh yeah.
What does it do for your? What does it do to your computer?
I don't even know. I would just have random pop-ups open, just a bunch of shit. But there's like viruses that are like glitches that spread because like there's a difference between like malware that's like trying to get your info and all that kind of stuff, and like straight up computer virus, which just like destroys your computer software.
Dude, those are like made by people, right?
Some of them aren't. A lot of them are literally just glitches that spread. That's what I just don't get.
Oh,
really? I thought computer viruses were always made by like hackers or something like that. What?
That's malware. That's not like a computer virus.
Okay.
What you're thinking of is software, Fenner. Software.
They're both software.
No, yeah, I know.
This shit's so weird. Like I don't.
Yeah, I don't know.
That computer viruses are just natural occurrences?
What? I think they're just like glitches, though. Like, but I don't get how they spread. I don't get how, like, because if your system can come into contact with it, this happened more like in the old school days.
Yeah.
It's just, oh my god.
I thought there were just a couple. Not to be mean to my fellow nerds out there, but a couple nerds who really understood like the internet back in the day and understood how computers. Yeah, a couple fucking assholes.
Fucking nerds.
Who like really understood it, and they're like, you know what? We're like we're psychopaths, and we're just going to ruin your computers with no benefits to me. Like I honestly thought all like computer viruses were like man-made and designed by somebody just to fuck you over.
Yeah, I thought that too, honestly.
No, I think that's just malware.
Huh.
But this is why we say we don't fucking understand.
When you say malware, what is that?
It's like things that can get you. It's like intentional programs and stuff that you don't want on your computer that get on your computer through like, pop-ups and all
streams
that
or
kind of
something.
stuff. Yeah. That is designed to like get your information, take your computer, like that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. I remember I
virus
downloaded some whack shit and it changed our like.
What was it? What did you download?
Oh, it was just like a ton of like I didn't really. I was just anytime I saw like a free sound song to download or whatever, it's like, oh yeah, I'll take it. And I must have done some weird shit with it where I accidentally pressed the wrong thing, but it would like download its own plugins and stuff like that.
Yeah, like
it was just weird. It really fucked up our PC.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's still good. It's better today. I had to wipe that. I don't wipe off that. Yeah. Just complete cleanse of the computer.
Yeah.
Now it's still standing, I guess. You guys got anything else you want to throw out there?
This could be a quick one because I feel like a lot of people do understand it now. But like the whole coronavirus thing, was it created in a lab or did somebody eat a bat?
Someone ate a bat.
Okay.
I'm not about to get on somebody's bad side. I'm not going to suggest the other.
Okay.
Yeah. There was, I did see a conspiracy theory.
Oh, no.
That
let's hear
it. Kim Jong said that on Christmas he had a big Christmas present for the United States, and nothing ever happened with it. And then suddenly, a couple months later, we're seeing coronavirus outbreak. It's a big thing with no cases.
I think that's a little far-fetched, but
Oh, I mean, every conspiracy theory is, but if it provokes thought, it's a theory.
Yeah.
And it makes
hard to argue.
Why did people think that it was created in a lab at first?
Because I feel like that's where everybody just naturally goes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Population control.
Yeah. Just to like shit like that. Shit.
Yeah. All right, that was the last one you guys wanted to throw out.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Well, we're gonna end out this episode of Things We Don't Know, and so thank you for listening to us talk about things that we could probably just Google and find out how they work, but we would rather talk about how we don't know about that. As we're talking about how our phones are like computers and shit. But thanks again for listening. Make sure to subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Follow us all on there. Also, leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It really helps out the show. And then follow us also on Twitter and Instagram. We've got some fun content coming in the upcoming weeks, so make sure to follow us there if you haven't already. And yeah, thanks again for listening.
I got a quick before we go. The last couple weeks have been real weird schedule-wise. The next week we'll be back on a regular 3-episode a week schedule. So
yes. The whole coronavirus has thrown us all for a loop.
It has.
But we'll be back on our bullshit, uploading consistently. And yeah, we'll see you later. Bye.